Alright guys, I am doing something that is inevitable to making custom die casts. And that's just trying to match the right paint to the decals. So inevitably when you're working decals, working customs, you're going to run into areas that you need to actually paint because the decal is not sufficient enough to cover that space. And case in point is this one I'm working for Manix for Quan. And this, I think I got your names pronounced correctly. But anyways, I'm working the spoiler, right? So I've got this piece in here for the front, and it seems to be, you know, good coverage there. But the back piece is going to go on, and inevitably I'm going to have to cover this top and the sides. And so I've got, you know, this orange color of the decal that I have to match, right, with some paint, because this is going to go on the back, and I'm going to have all of this side to work. And it's just not going to look right, and it'll look stupid, right, if I don't paint it or don't cover that area, leave it black. And that is honestly probably the biggest pain in the backside that I have to work with are these different colored spoilers. So if it's black, you know, I love it. It's just an easy thing. I shouldn't say easy thing, but it's the easiest one of all, especially if the car's black. But when you get into like a red or a yellow, or in this case an orange, or even sometimes you'll see like a white spoiler, those become difficult. And the decal sets, you know, will come with the colored spoilers, but like I'm telling you, it doesn't cover the sides and the top. It just doesn't. And so you're left with trying to paint match. So in this case, I've got these 4 different orange paints that I have that I'm testing out, right? So I've got the Rust-Oleum Fire Orange, which is a satin finish. You got this Poppy Red, which is kind of a mix between orange and red. I've got this, basically it's just a tester's, it says Gloss Competition Orange. And then I've got this Model Masters Go Mango. I've used this Go Mango for a lot of things. And so spray a little sp in each of each on this little paper plate I've got, you know, just so small, you know, splotch there. And I take a little bit of this, and what I've done is I've taken this little piece of decal and I've rubbed it on there. So this first one here, let's see if I can get this to focus. This first one here is the Fire Orange, and that Fire Orange, I thought it was going to be the match. Let's just line this up here. I thought this was going to be the match, and you can see it's not bad. The Poppy Red, predictably, is a little dark. And then you've got the Competition Orange, which is not bad. And then you have the Go Mango, which I think is the match. So if we were to line these up here, you can see the Go Mango has a better match than this Competition Orange, and then of course against those two. So I'm going to go with the Go Mango, and so I've got this done, Manix, in that decals are on, and I've got 3 coats of the sealer, Pledge Floor Care Sealer, on it. So let's get some paint there on that spoiler. And I just kind of just go a little puff. Oh, it smells so good. Am I allowed to say that? Probably not. Yeah, this is going to take a couple coats. And you can see the edge. Maybe you can't. It's hard to see. But the edge of the decal is actually a little... It's got a little white on it. And that's just... Get my hand... back of my hand with a little bit of a brace there. Yeah, this isn't a perfect match, but it's the best match I got. Now you have to put the clear sealer on it before you paint the edge, because you put paint right on a decal, it will compromise it. It'll you know, make it bubble, and yeah, the paint going over a decal is not typically a good way to do that. And you learn that from experience, making mistakes. Yeah, I've done it, guys, multiple times. They say there's no substitute for on-the-job training. Check that out. I'm pretty happy with that, guys. Very cool. And we'll just let that dry. It dries pretty quickly. But yeah, I think that's a really good match. Now the other thing I'm going to do, Manix, on this is I'm going to run that orange around this lower front valance here. Just a little bit across this lower front. And once I do that, and I get this on the back, she will be done. So, very cool. I shouldn't say done, right? You wanted me to do something a little bit special, which is it's a matte finish, but then where the decal is on the side, and I'm not sure about the roof, but where the decal is on the side, you want that to be gloss. So I'm going to try that. I've never tried that before, but I'm going to give that a whirl and see how that turns out. But I am just about done with getting this to that sealing and that final stage of glossing that up. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It's a very cool design, no doubt about it. So, okay, what else am I working? Real quick, I've got this working, Doug, here, this 2013 PlayPad Pro, a Matt Kenseth, number 18. Really cool car that he drove to Victory Lane back in 2013 at Daytona. What's so cool about this car, I shouldn't say so cool, but what is cool about it is the decal set is actually correct. So I made this way back in the day, and it had this decal on the side. You can see the kind of this light green, and then the other side was just the reverse of it. Well, the other side actually is a little bit different in actuality what it was on the track. So where you have this is kind of going up and then down. On the other side, it was going down, this yellow and this green, it was going down and then back up. So somebody, I don't remember who, but somebody over the years identified that and actually sent Pattos the correct design, which is what this is. And so every car I've made before was actually slightly incorrect from what was driven on the track. This is correct. And so I'm excited to have that decal set and work this up for you, Doug. So yeah, that's in process. And then John, I've got your two here. What I'm working on, these two things now, is the spoiler, painting the spoiler black and getting the roof lines done. One thing to note about this particular car, you saw my video last time I was putting this this nose on, and then I had to come back and put this separate piece across here. Well, it was too small. It did not, when I first laid it down, I had a gap all the way around, and this would not line up on the sides with the white. And so I got the microsole on it, I let it soften it up, and then I was able to stretch it ever so slightly. It took a little bit of time. I should have videoed it, it would have been cool. But I stretched it across, was able to get it to cover up all the red that was across this nose that was showing through, and get this to lay down nicely and fall into place. So that is one of the terrific advantages of working with the microsole product, because it gets these water slide decals flexible and allows you to stretch them just a little bit, right? And get things to conform and line up with other decals that may be on the car. When you get the stickers, you can't really use the microsole on the stickers like that. I haven't had good experience on that front, so that's another reason why I like the water slide decals, where you can kind of stretch them. And I think the Silk Ink decals do a better job than the Laser Sharp, but again, that's just my opinion. So yeah, so John, I got these two almost done for you, and I had forgotten that you had also asked for the Justin Marks Catera car, so I'm trying to throw that together for you as well. And in this case, I've decided to go with the a different color of yellow than I've used in the past. I think this is, hold on just a second, I think this is the, hold on. Yeah, so I was just double checking to see. This is the Rust-Oleum Lemongrass, and I think this actually, it's an odd yellow, but I think this is actually the better color when I look at the pictures of this car, this 2016 car that he won at. And so Mid-Ohio. So yeah, so I'll be putting this Catera together for you, and then I'll have all three of these cars for you, John, when I get that one done. So let's see what else I got going on back here. I've got these three to do. The two for you, Marshall, the 5-hour energy, and this KDST. I've got that all put together. JB Well, just getting ready to decal those. Also going to do this Jacob Company's JJ Yaley that Simon had sent over. Got that painted and ready to go. So let's see. This is a black Ty Gibbs number 54 Monster that Adam had asked for, so I'm going to make that for him. I told you about that Matt Tift. A couple things over there. These were two fantasy Kyle Busch schemes that Mr. Drake would like, and so I'm going to work those up for him. Interesting Chevy Camaros, Pop-Tarts, and Fruit Loops. So he asked for those. I'll get those for you. I'm still working on this Dale Earnhardt number 96. I've got to figure out how I need to detail the interior. That's what I'm waiting for there. This one, Eric, is underway. The Chase Briscoe number 98 High Point. So I've got that Xfinity Mustang in the works. And then Brandon, I've got your Sunny D Stenhouse in the works. So Apologize for how long it's taken me to get to that. I know you've been asking for it for a while, but I've got this taken apart. Just need to paint it. Probably going to paint it black. This is a full wrap decal. I think I said earlier I probably could have taken the orange background and removed it, but or even the dark blue background, but I just decided to just leave it, and we'll work with it. Probably paint the car black and just go with it from there. That'll be fun. Doing these Chevys is always fun, especially over these full wrap cars, especially over this area. It's kind of a pain in the backside. These fender wells here that are just, real, almost like a 90-degree bend, and you got to bend the decal up over, try to stretch it as much as possible to get it to conform and match up with everything. So, but yeah, that's what's working today, and really for this whole weekend. I've got a lot of things working. So, all right, let's do one of my Bible memory verses as close out this video. This is number 9, and we are looking at 1 Corinthians. I really like these verses. Well, there's not really any of these verses that I don't like, but this is a really good one, a really motivating one. And it's verse number 9, August 11th, 1997, when I started to commit it to memory. 1 Corinthians 9:26 and 27. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air, but I keep under my body, and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. So another verse written by the Apostle Paul under the influence and direction of the Holy Spirit. Paul was a mighty man of God, and he has been writing to the Corinthians, probably one of the first letters that he wrote, 1 Corinthians. And the church there in Corinth was not really functioning the way that it should. And he had a lot of correction to give to them, and a lot of instructions on how they needed to function. Because, Christians may be forgiven, they may be saved, but that doesn't mean they are going to be perfect in every way. I know I'm not perfect, but sometimes people have problems with church people because they're like, hey, you should be like this or you should be like that. Well, that's true, but they're not always perfect, and they are under the process of that sanctification where they are learning and growing and being more set apart from this world to Christ. And Paul was writing to them, and he himself was undergoing that. He wasn't a perfect man. And so he was up, being a preacher, a missionary, and he is saying here that he has to discipline himself, and he has to work hard at every area of his life, his words, his actions, his thoughts, because he is standing up in front of people, giving them direction. And so he is under conviction here. And he's writing about that battle that he has in his life every day, that every Christian has, right? To do good and to say no to sin and yes to God. So he's saying, I so run, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, not aimlessly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. So this is Paul's daily, if not hourly, battle that he is exposing us to in these words. The Christian life is a war. It's a spiritual battle every day, every hour. And Paul says, I am running this race. And I don't run as if I don't know where I'm going. He doesn't run aimlessly with no direction. No, he runs in the direction, and that perfect example of Jesus Christ is what he's after. He says, I fight not as one that beateth the air. And the imagery that's there is this boxer, right? The boxer steps into that ring. He knows who his enemy is. He's studied him, and he's going to punch that guy. And he's going to combine punches, and he's going to hit him to defeat him. And that's kind of what Paul's saying. He knows who his enemy is. He knows where he's going to strike the enemy. And so he's going to go into that ring. He's going to fight and punch and come out a victor. And then he talks about his body, how he disciplines his body. He says, I keep under, it's interesting, King James words, but I discipline my body, he says, and I bring it into subjection. So he's not a man who just lives after his natural impulses. He's not a man that is just going to, oh, well, that's the way I'm wired together, and that's just, the way it is. No, he disciplines himself. He recognizes that his natural body, his natural man, the old man, is something that needs to change, that he needs to get rid of. And so he is bringing that natural human element of himself under discipline, because he says, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. He doesn't want to be a hypocrite. Now, is every Christian a hypocrite ultimately? I think so. But Paul is laying out an example. He says in other places, imitate me as I imitate Christ. That's our goal, to be like Jesus Christ. And Paul is a great example of that. And he exposes here in these verses how he disciplined himself and what motivated him. Yes, it's to be like Christ, but also he didn't want to be a hypocrite. He didn't want to have preached to other people about how to live a Christian life, but then himself fall short of that. So, wow, just so motivating verses, challenging verses nonetheless, right? As Christians, we know it's a hard fight to wake up every day and to walk with the Lord. We have to, though, fight. We step into that ring, we can't just not put up our boxing gloves and just take blows. We have to step in that ring and fight. And sometimes we're going to win. Sometimes we're gonna get knocked down, but we get back up and we fight. And so this was a very encouraging verse to me. I really appreciated it and have appreciated it over the years. And I hope it's an encouragement to you guys and a challenge. All right, guys, God bless you. We will talk to you in the next video. Have a great weekend.